Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 50 with the Big 50. We want to thank our last episode's guest, Wojtek Wolski, for being on our show. It was great to get his personal perspective on his journey from junior to the NHL and then on to the KHL, plus for sharing the scary incident that he incurred when it took for him to overcome that injury. Again, it's just another excellent example of a genuine person exemplifying the power of positivity. And Wojtek Wolski definitely exemplifies that. So we look forward to having him back on a future episode. And on to our guest for tonight's show, Amit.
Yes, our guest for tonight's show, we found during last couple of our last meeting, we have a lot of commonalities and shared interests. He's an interesting fellow. He has started a place where you can have all your needs, your shipping needs taken care of in one spot. But I'll let Tim Corriveau explain that in more detail. So let's bring him on and say hello to our guest.
Hey,
Hello,
everyone.
Tim.
How you doing?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
Good. How
Thanks
are
for having
you?
me on.
No worries. This is kind of cool. It was actually a mutual friend of ours reached out to us and decided, why don't you have you on? I thought it was really neat. We had that first initial Facebook chat. It was actually really good. Went for over an hour.
Right.
I knew from there we had the makings of a good interview. So want to just get into, before we get into your business and where you are in the hobby space, let's talk about you, Tim Corriveau, the person. So one of the things we like to do is, we want to tell a little bit of a backstory of the person we're about to meet, because I feel that people, when they investing in a company or using the services, they're actually buying a piece of you. They're like, you know what, I believe in this person enough that I'm willing to fork out dollars and cents to have you do X or Y for me, right? So let's get into Tim. Let's go back a little while. I don't know how old you are, so I didn't ask that question, but let's go back a few years. You have salt and pepper like me, so I'm assuming we're on the same age.
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit and let's kind of get into Tim as the young guy Tim. Tell me about young guy Tim was all about.
Young guy me grew up in the sports world. I fell in love with ESPN and Sports Center, and I was hooked. Like, my grandfather turned the TV on, and I never knew what ESPN was in my life. So, watching all the sports and everything like that, getting involved with it. He loves sports. And then at 7 years old, I started playing youth hockey, and I played all the way up through high school. And then after I went off to college and stuff like that, I played in a bunch of men's leagues and different stuff like that, and really evolved into loving the game and loving other sports. And then I never played basketball in my life until probably my senior year. I never even picked up a basketball, and I've been playing in like men's leagues ever since, enjoying it. But my real passion was we actually had a sports card shop about a mile from our house when I grew up, and I was putting together the 1984 top set for hockey, and I kept on not finding the one card I needed, and the guy from the card shop said, "Is this the card you're looking for?" And it was the Patrick Waugh rookie. So it was right, 84, right?
Yeah, 84,
Yeah.
85.
Okay. So yeah, he said, "You know what? You spent enough on packs." He goes, "Here, this card's for you." And I still have the set today. I never sold it. Like,
That's
I put it
awesome.
together myself. It's like one of the only sets I've ever put together pack by pack.
That's interesting. Anybody wants to say hi to Eric? Eric joined.
Hey, Eric.
And just so you're aware, Eric, I talked to Slab Song Tim today, and Tim are going to be talking soon. So that's good to know.
Yes.
So you kind of brought me back to a memory. So I don't know why lately I've been thinking about a lot about my childhood. Maybe it's because of the war and what's going on. It's kind of making me reflect a bit. And I remember there was I begged my parents to get me hockey stickers. So it was the I can't remember what year it was, 82, 83 OPG hockey sticker set. So I had Wayne Gretzky on the cover. And I remember I was short by like 20 stickers. And I remember my parents bought me like 10 packs. I remember coming right after hockey. I didn't even take my equipment off. I just went straight upstairs
That's awesome.
If I had my skates on, I probably did. I don't know. It was back in the old school skates with the really crappy skate guard with the coil on it. You had to pull on it. Yeah, remember those before they became all fancy?
Yeah.
I can remember, you know, I can remember the glimmer of the foil and peeling the sticker off and putting it in the book and then finishing it. I was so proud of that book. I was so proud of that book. I still have that book.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
isn't that what collecting's all about, though? That's what it's all about.
It is.
It's not about how much money you have or how much money you have, like, in one card. You know, there's guys out there who have a $500,000 card. Don't get me wrong. And then there's guys out there that have a 500,000 cards, and they're just as happy as that other guy with the one card.
It's true. You know I had this conversation with a buddy of mine, actually the office. I can't remember where we were talking. It had got into the topic of books. Like, do you prefer a book that's pristine or a book that's well read? And I said, I want a book that's well read. And he's asked me why. So that means other people picked up and read it, so it's well worn. They want to read it, right? If a book crisp and clean, to me, doesn't invite me to do that. Now, there are some purists out there that will cringe at the sight of me saying, "Oh, I love to have a dog-eared corner Wayne Gretzky rookie card over a pristine." That's not true. I'm just talking about a book and just a sentiment. Anyways, your point there, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's my whole thing about collecting. It's not about spending, you know, $1 million on sports cards. It's about what you're collecting is your passion, you know, and what you're happy with. You know, there's guys out there that love, like, collecting second year cards because they can't afford the first year cards.
Yeah. Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And we've seen, like, over the last, like, 5, 6, 7 years now, how a guy's second year card goes from being $4 to $50. Yeah. You know, especially with, like, Luka's Prism rookies. So you have his Prism rookies, and then you have his second year rookies that took a huge jump. And there's a lot of guys out there who are like, "Whoa, I didn't realize I was sitting on a good card here," you know. And the guy who can't afford, you know, the rookie card, he's just as happy as with the second year card, because
totally.
If you couldn't own a Jordan rookie, wouldn't you be happy to have a second year Jordan rookie right now?
I'd be happy with a fourth year Jordan.
Okay, well, there you go. That's the whole point of collecting, right?
Just saying. Fourth year, yeah. I'll take a dog-eared one any day of the week. So it's great. The one thing I'm glad to hear, you are a collector at heart. We know that. We talked a little bit about that before. I want to, before we go into your collecting and your business one more time, let's get into. So you mentioned you played hockey growing up. What was your favorite position, favorite player, and favorite team?
Oh, so I love playing left wing, because I'm actually ambidextrous.
Yeah.
So depending on where the face-off was, I could use either my right-handed stick or my left-handed stick to give me that one-timer opportunity, which was pretty cool because my brother was only a righty, so I always had left-handed sticks and right-handed sticks around the house, so I always had what I needed. So
you had a straight edge? You went with a straight edge?
No, I had a curve.
Oh, you had a curve? Okay.
Yeah, we put it right over the torch and, you know, give it a little heat and give it a little more bend to it.
Yeah.
Not more than a dime, though.
You remember the
that was the measuring, right?
Yeah. I remember going to Canadian Tire and buying
those. Right, the dime.
Yeah.
What was it? Canadian Tire used to get those plastic blades. You could put them in boiling water and bend them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for street hockey.
Yeah.
Street hockey. Yeah. Street hockey.
Yeah. Those were like knives, man. If you got hit with one of those in the shin,
hurt.
It cut you right open.
And then what's even crazier, the orange balls back in those days were like real plastic, right? And there's no
they hurt.
And it hurt on a cold day. If someone had a slap shot.
Yeah.
I didn't use those. I used the sponge pucks.
Yeah, we never had sponge pucks. We would use the orange balls.
Yeah, those hurt, tennis balls.
Those hurt. Tennis balls. Yeah, tennis balls were a good use of a ball versus the orange ball.
The only problem with a tennis ball, is once the hair, like the fiber wore off,
Oh,
was
yeah.
hard. It was like a bullet.
Yep. It stung when it hit you.
Oh, yeah, like, man, I don't know, how do we survive as kids? Anyways, that's a different story. Sorry, I mean to cut you off. Go back to you were saying your favorite position. You told you. What about your favorite team and player?
Oh, so my favorite team is the Montreal Canadiens. I live about an hour and a half outside of Montreal right now. I second that.
There you go, Eric.
My favorite player of all time, and I'm going to get really hammered on this. If I had to rank a 1 through 5 list, it'd be Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux, then Wayne Gretzky. I'm sorry, but it's just how I have to go with it.
So give us the validation. Why?
I just feel that Gordie Howe and Mario Lemieux were two great scorers, two great playmakers. They're also winners, not to take anything away from Gretzky or anything like that. But there's that one box that you have to check off as a hockey player, I think, and it's the fighting aspect. Because there's just so much honor that goes into taking your gloves off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the guy who can I don't know, pick on somebody but doesn't want to get into a fight. I'm not saying that Gretzky did that. I'm just saying in general, but there's a box that you need to check off, and if you're playing fantasy hockey or something like that and fighting was a box, everybody would have picked Mario Lemieux before Gretzky.
Yeah, and Gretzky did get into a fight once. Dave Taylor,
I know,
Los
but
Angeles Kings. So I'll give him that. Gordie Howe hat trick was named after him for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I can respect that. I think it's very hard for me to rank players, but I think because of where I was at the time, Gretzky was definitely top. I hated Lemieux because I didn't want him anywhere near Gretzky. I respect him a lot more now. Another player I loved growing up was Marcel Dion. I love Marcel Dion. But my all-time favorite player is Wendell Clark. And for the same reason. Yeah, like a guy battled.
He was another guy, he filled up the stat line.
He definitely did that.
Yeah, Cam Neely, the year that he scored 50 goals.
Yeah, don't say anything to Eric. Eric might be listening. Just
I think he had because it was a short season, if I recall. That was a strike season, right?
No, Eric, if you're there, you might be able to answer that question.
Uh-oh. I might be in trouble now.
Eric's a good guy. He's all about Boston, and somehow all our shows always talk about Boston and Massachusetts. I don't know how that happens.
I'm only 3 hours from Boston, so I've been to a lot of games in TD Garden and in the Boston Garden. So I do miss the Boston Garden. I like the old buildings, just like the old Forum. The Bell Center.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the same. Without pigeons in the rafters, it's not hockey.
No, you know what? I like the old Forum, the old stadiums, because the acoustics were different.
Yeah.
Oh, the Buffalo Odd. The acoustics are amazing there.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a definite one.
Dude, the Buffalo Odd was scary because if you sat at the very top, it looked like you're going to fall off.
Oh, I know. By the way, so here is... So Cam Neely, 75 games played, 36 goals, 36 assists, 72 points, 143 minutes in penalties.
Yeah.
42 goals, 27 assists, 69 points for 175 minutes in penalties. That was even crazier. He had 51 points in the playoffs that year. Anyways.
Yeah, but look at the year he scored 55 goals. He had 117 minutes in penalties.
There's Eric's comment. He only played half the season due to injury, scored 50 in 49 games, played every other game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's he was a battler. I love Cam Neely too.
Yeah.
But look at this, 51 points twice in the playoffs.
That's huge. They should have won cups those years.
Sorry, I lied. Not 51 minutes in penalty. I
mean,
penalties.
Yeah.
Penalties. Yeah, sorry, not points.
But even 17 points in the playoffs is a lot. Don't get me wrong. he played in an era that was really tough. I mean, really tough. He had to do everything for himself and his teammates, for them game in and game out. He had to protect the young stars, you
Yep.
know, and he had to score and he had to be a leader.
Is it-
Those are things that you can't take away from
No, for
players
sure.
like him.
So
he
here's my
had to
hero.
he had to deal with Ulf Samuelsson.
Oh yeah,
True. Oh, he hated Elf Samuelsson. By the way, here's my hero, Wendell Clark.
yeah.
116.
Well, I noticed there's not much playoffs over there on that right hand side.
Oh, dude, come on. At least it was a terrible time back then. But look
Yeah,
at
I
it.
know.
116, 152, 123, 193, 115.
Wow.
He was a battler. So he was my hero growing up. I wrote stories about him. Oh, what is Eric saying? He played okay. We lost to the Oilers in 2 finals. Was that the year that the Bruins couldn't afford the electricity and the power went out? I can't remember. So what year
Yeah,
was
I
it?
think that was the year of the fog.
Yeah,
The
the
year of
fog.
fog?
Fog
Yeah, they
game.
couldn't afford a right building. Is that right? Boston couldn't afford a building or electricity bill?
Yeah, that's when the Garden was starting to fail. Because during basketball, the court was getting wet.
Yeah, see, Eric? Anyway, we won't go into that.
I remember that.
So we've completely got off track of our questions.
know.
Right. This is what makes live shows fun. Yeah, the rats killed the lights. Yes.
Yes.
Kent, I'll throw
I
it
thought
over
that
to you
only
for the
happened in
question.
Florida.
Well, they throw rats on the ice in Florida.
Right.
This one, the rats were eating the wires. So,
True.
At least the rats in Florida are made out of plastic.
Yeah.
well, these days, with environmental pollution, who knows? Eric, sorry, Eric. I called you Eric, Kent. Sorry, Kent. I'm gonna throw it back over to you to get.
I've been called worse.
Throw it back over to you for some questions. There, go ahead.
Sure, Tim. Can you share with us a special bond we have with a particular college or university team, and can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I have a pretty good bond with the University of Vermont. And we've been season ticket holders since 85, 84. But before that point, we'd always get free tickets and go and sit up in the crow's nest for every home game anyway. So really, I've been going to UVM games since 78, since I was 4 years old. Well, now my age is out there, so whatever. It's over.
Wait, how old did you say? How old did you say?
Since I was 4 in 78.
4.
So yeah,
Okay,
47. So, but yeah, so I've gotten to know a lot of the players that have come through the University of Vermont. And there's had to have been close to 15 hockey players already, maybe more, who've actually won Stanley Cups and have been like a pivotal part of a team that won a cup.
So who are some of the famous NHLers that have come from Vermont?
Well, Tim Thomas.
Right. Tim Thomas.
For the Bruins. Marty St. Louis with Tampa Bay. John Leclerc with Montreal in 93, his rookie year.
No kidding.
He really should have got a trophy, an extra trophy that year, but he got robbed. I think he had like 4 or 5 overtime goals or game-winning goals during the playoffs. And that's a lot for a player.
For sure.
I was in Montreal for his very first game, and he scored in his first game. And he shot the puck about a foot from the icing line towards the net, and it went in right from the corner of the boards. It was amazing. He was just no chance in heck that he could have even ever scored that goal. And it went in, and that was like, it just catapulted him that season. Just gave him all the confidence in the world. And then he had all those great years with the Flyers after
Legion of
didn't want him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Look what they could have had.
Was
They
he
could
on the
have won
Legion of Doom
multiple
line?
Stanley Cups with him.
Yeah.
Patrick Sharps went to UVM. He's won cups with Chicago.
Oh, Patrick Sharp. Interesting.
Yeah. Victor Stahlberg. Well, both Stahlbergs, Victor and Sebastian. I don't know if people know who Christian Susi is. He's part of the Blackhawks organization. He was drafted by them, and he's I think a goaltending coach now or a scout for them. So he's a pretty big part of their organization. And there's just been numerous guys that have come through UVM that have moved on to the pros, and they put up a really high quality hockey team year in and year out, and they play against some really tough schools. They play like BU and BC, and they play in the American East Hockey League, which is a really tough division to play in. And usually like 3 or 4 teams from there get into the playoffs for the NCAA championship playoffs.
Right.
Was it 16 teams get invited?
I'm not
remember
familiar with the amount, but that sounds familiar though.
16.
So what do they call the Frozen Four? What do they call it?
Frozen Four. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually bring that up. That's a really awful year for us, because that was the year that UVM was in the Frozen Four, and the guy from the other team had the puck in his glove and he threw it into the net against Timmy Thomas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Timmy and St. Louis played together at the same time at UVM.
And now St. Louis is the coach in Montreal, and Tim
is the coach in Montreal.
Tim is chasing his political dream somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah. Let's
leave that one alone. That's
politics, so
it's not the focus of our show. Anyway, sorry, Kent, back to you.
Well, I was just going to say part of St. Louis, because he looks like he's kind of got Montreal on all cylinders now.
I think St. Louis can really turn around Montreal. I mean, he has that thing about him where he can make people believe in his vision.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's really hard to take a player who's been around 8, 10, 12 years to believe in your vision. But it's nice to take a guy who's a rookie to 3 years into the league and make him believe into your vision. Look what Tampa Bay did.
Oh yeah, that's a good example. Yes.
That's exactly what St. Louis can do for Montreal. He can make that young core believe in his passion and just develop more and more talent. I mean, how many players have been playing in Tampa Bay since who's the coach they have right now?
I'm trying to remember his name. I can see his face. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name right now. But anyway, he told everybody what the vision was, and they all bought into it, and they were all in from game one. And they ended up winning a Stanley Cup that year. And every single year after that, Stamkos has been a superstar leader, and he's had a huge supporting cast. They have like 5 or 6 studs on their team. You know, most teams have
they're not a small team, that's for sure.
Yeah, but they're fast, and they're smart with the puck.
John Cooper.
I like how they play.
John Cooper. That's who we're trying to remember.
That's it. Yes.
Yes, John Cooper.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kent.
Yeah. So, are there any former players that you managed to keep in touch with by any chance?
Well, I still keep in touch with Timmy Thomas in St. Louis. That's for sure. Right. They both have homes a couple miles away from me. So I see them throughout the summers when they're here summering on Lake Champlain.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, and you guys know where Lake Champlain is because it's just south of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So do you still play pickup hockey with them or anything like that?
No, I don't play any pickup hockey with them anymore. They're more into the beer league stuff now. So Not me so much anymore. I have to get up in the morning, but I like to play what we call boot hockey here.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. No.
Oh, so you put on your sneakers and we play on what's called it's a small patch ice. It's like for what mites learn how to skate on.
Yeah.
They're really young kids, so they're not playing on a full-size hockey rink. They're playing on a really small one. And you're just running back and forth with sponge pucks.
Yeah,
And,
that's I love that.
and you're just playing in your shoes because
Yeah.
a lot of my friends didn't know how to skate. So that was an equalizer for everybody. We're all on shoes on ice.
Yeah,
So,
it's awesome. Boot hockey.
yeah. That's always
Yeah,
fun.
never done that. I've never done that. I don't think I could do it. To me,
Oh, you can do it. I mean, you can do it. Trust me, you can.
If
do
you
it.
can play floor hockey, you can play boot hockey.
yeah, I just like being on ice. You know what I mean? It's either road hockey or I don't know. In between feels kind of like cheating.
You'd be surprised. Boot hockey requires some skill. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I
it does.
bet you probably
You can't go super fast because you're going to crash against the boards.
Yeah.
You got to have some speed where you can actually still be able to deke somebody out. Boy, deke, that's an old word. Yes. I just aged myself.
No, they still use the word deke.
No, we still use that phrase up here anyway.
I tried to practice on Saturday. So I'm a coach and I help run the practices with a couple other coaches. And we had a scrimmage at the end where the kid, just give them throw the puck in the ice, but you got to go around the coaches to score.
Right.
This kid didn't get the memo. He went through me.
He tried to go through you. He
went right through me. Like I'm talking, like I went head over feet.
Wow.
Onto the ice, and I'm like, "What happened to going around me?" He's like, "Well, I tried to go through your legs." Like, okay, sure. That wasn't the point. Not in the NHL. Anyway.
Wow. When we played in Pee Wee's, our coach would do a drill where he was the defenseman. So we'd get the puck at the red line and start coming down on him. And then all of a sudden I'm at the blue line and he's just barely backing up. And I just caught him just right where I spun him around and he slipped and fell onto the ice and he actually broke his wrist.
Ouch.
But I just turned back, looked over my shoulder, kept on going and threw the puck in the net.
And then you went straight home.
I raised my hands like Gretzky did. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, whatever. But I didn't realize like he got hurt.
Yeah, and I know what it feels like to break a wrist. That hurts.
The worst feeling ever.
Did you ever?
You don't want to break your wrist, that's for sure.
Yeah. Tim, did you ever go to the University of Vermont?
No, not as a college student. No, I went to Cape Cod Community College for a couple of years and went there for business and decided that the beach was a lot more fun than school.
So do you have any mem from the University of Vermont hockey teams? Memorabilia you kept or anything you have?
I have an original 1981 maybe season. I think it's 81. I have an original UVM hockey sweatshirt jersey. And it said like UVM, like from shoulder to hip.
Wow.
Big letters. It's really awesome and it's really gaudy, like letters, like huge. And they just wanted to fill up the jersey somewhat with 3 letters, so that's all they could do. I do have the first face mask that college hockey required, and it was really cool because the UVM hockey guys all chose to wear this face mask, and it actually had like a cat's eye in it.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. That's neat.
Yeah. Well, they ended up outlawing those and saying you got to go to the cage look to it. You know what I mean? So you can't stick a hockey the butt end of your stick.
Yeah, right. Through, yeah.
Because that's what happened was one of the players actually got checked against the boards and the butt end of the hockey stick went in and gouged the guy's eye and he lost his vision. And they were like, okay, we got to change up the rules here a little bit for these cages. And then they eventually got rid of that cage, but I was able to get one of those cages from the actual head coach of UVM hockey at the time.
Nice.
which is pretty
Nice.
cool. Because I used to just wear it for like our practices for youth hockey because it was okay. It was legal. You know,
Yeah.
we just had to have a helmet on with a cage, and that was perfect. I loved the whole cat eye thing. I was the only guy on the team that had one. So
It's true though, because back then, if you didn't have a thick enough, round enough knob, that thing would
Yeah.
go right through the eye there.
Yeah, that's why the guys used to really tape up heavy on the end of their sticks,
Yeah,
so it wouldn't go through the cage or whatever, or be a sharp, poke in the face.
Yeah, for sure. Kent, I'll throw it back over to you for the collecting questions.
sure. So Tim, at what point did you start to stockpile a bunch of cards and then decide it was time to sell? When did you come to that point?
I still do it today. Um, I'm more of a investor versus a collector. I see potential in young players and what they can be.
Okay.
It's a little different today because of the whole hype with social media and TV and all these other media avenues. It's a lot harder to really collect than it was 10 years ago.
Right.
Times have really changed.
Mm-hmm,
But I started investing back in 1996. It was Kobe Bryant's rookie year for basketball.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And at our Walmarts here, Topps Chrome was available, and you couldn't get Topps Chrome on the West Coast.
Oh,
So packs were like $1.99, and I was buying up 100 packs a week because that's all I could afford at the time. I was like, $200, whatever. And I ended up having around 60 Kobe Bryant base chromes, and 8 to 10 refractors.
that's crazy, but really good for you.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't know who the guy was, but yeah, he ended up being a pretty good player at the end.
Yeah, just a little bit of a good player.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Eric, I'm not sure why you break hearts. Okay, I'll leave this up here just so it's immortalized in print. There you go. Or in video. Sorry, go ahead, Kent.
Okay. Yeah, continue, Tim. Sorry.
Yeah, so the Kobe Bryant was like my first big thing that I did, and then I moved on to my next basketball player a few years later, and that was a guy named Vince Carter, who had just some guy. He had some special card out there. It was a SP Authentic number to like 3,500 or something like that, and I had a little over 200 of those at one point.
200. I only had like one. You had 200.
Yeah, well, they were only selling on eBay for like $25, because he hadn't exploded yet.
Yes, that's true.
And then as soon as he did that first dunk in a game,
yep,
and ESPN started calling it Vinsanity.
Yep.
That was it. The cards went from $40 to $250, and this was like week by week by week. And 10 weeks later, that card was selling for almost $2,000.
Yeah, it was insane.
Can you imagine if it was if YouTube was around and influencers were around back then? It would have been worth more.
Oh, exactly. Just imagine. I mean, it's just amazing how much hype happens with social media and all these other avenues. I mean, we all know what happened to Linsanity.
Yep.
His cards don't sell for as much as they used to, not even close, but that hype that Sports Center gave him and all the other media markets gave him blew his cards out of this world. Yep. It was crazy.
Yeah, once he won the slam dunk competition with that crazy dunk, that was it.
Yeah. So he should have stayed in New York. Or no, Houston.
Was it Houston? Yeah.
No, it was New York. It was New York. Yeah.
Was it New York? Okay.
Yeah. Didn't he go to
Harvard?
Harvard?
Moved around a lot. He
went to Harvard, right?
He did move around a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a rapper
at Harvard College. And who would have thought a guy from Harvard College making it that much of a splash in the NBA?
True.
He made it with the Raptors, so he did get something out of it.
True.
That team, that was such a good team. And our only championship so far, or our championship so far, but it was a good team. But actually, you're pretty good at picking good players. Anyway, sorry, Kent, you were going, but I gotta make that comment. You have pretty good players you've picked so far: Kobe, and then Vince Carter. So
you want to know my all-time favorite basketball player?
Yeah, go for it.
So my all-time favorite basketball player is Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, Seattle. Yeah.
There was one card back in 94, and I think it was out of SkyTech Force. It was the only card in the set that had a really gold foil to it.
That is a really old brand.
Yeah, but it was the only card that had like a gold foil to it. All the other cards were kind of like the same like colors, but he was the only one that was gold. And I was like, oh, this is sick. And when I ended up getting done collecting Kemp, I sold my collection on eBay piece by piece by piece, and I was missing 7 cards from his master checklist when I sold, and they were all one of ones. At the time, I had around 57 one of ones, and these were back in the day. These were true one of ones. These weren't like one of one. This was 1/1.
Right.
You know, like Topps Gold Label, I had class 1, 2, and 3 one of ones. Like,
oh wow!
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, most of my serial number cards were either 1 of, 4 of, 40 of, or 75 of 75. You know what I mean? Like, I always had like the best serial number I could find for every single one of my Kemps. And every time I bought a card, it was always to upgrade it if I already had it.
Yeah, because back in those days, to pull a 101 was like really, really hard. Not like today.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, a player today, like a Zion and Immaculate, he's going to have anywhere between 10 to 15 one of ones in that product.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to like Upper Deck in 98, there's only one of one per player for the base cards. You know, and when you pulled one of those Holy Grail cards, that was real deal.
Oh, yeah. It was a big time deal for sure.
It was huge.
Yeah.
You know, I had a buddy who pulled a Jordan one of one from a local hobby shop here, and he sold it to a guy in Buffalo who's like the largest Jordan collector in like the world pretty much. And he FedExed him cash the next day for it.
Cash.
He just told him that he had the one of one, and the guy sent him cash the next day.
Well, because back then you didn't really have PayPal. It was either a certified money order or cash, really.
Yeah, that's prior to PayPal, boy, that was fun going to the bank and cashing in money orders and
money orders.
Getting $6 or $8 in cash in the mail, and you're like, I don't have to go to the bank.
I was telling, who did I tell someone this story? I can't remember who it was, but I sold something on eBay, and this is way back for PayPal. This is back when you had to specify the pink money order versus the green money order. If we sent out the green money order here, we couldn't cash it. Right?
Yeah, we can't cash it was U.S. postal money orders.
Right.
If you came in green, it came green, we can't cash it. It had to be pink because pink was the international one.
Yes. So we'd have to it would take like 6 weeks to finalize an eBay sale if you sent me the wrong money order, right? And I remember I got a box at home. I'm like, box, and I remember looking at the box, and I remember shaking the box, and the box sounded like something broken inside. Right? So I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't recognize the sender, so I opened it. It was change. Wow. And inside the box was a note saying, here is the item I bought from you, a handwritten note or whatever note it was. I can't remember. And a box full of change. And he paid more to ship the change than the change in the box.
Yeah, I've had back in those days when I was selling cards too. I had a gentleman in the States send me. I guess he wasn't interested in $2 notes, so he sent me the whole amount in $2 notes.
Wow!
which I still have. I still have them.
Some of those are worth a lot of money, you know.
Yeah. Kent's a money collector, so So I'm just going to read a couple comments.
Oh, here
The
we go.
storage room joined. Hello, I recently joined as a VIP member. Found out lurking the HI forums, Hobby Insider forums. Cool to see the face of the company. I didn't get to see much content about this site. Thank you for joining, and I appreciate you coming. We're just about to get into Tim's Get It Shipped International, but we had too much fun talking about hobbies, so can't believe we spent 40 minutes on that.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. This is what we want to do. We want to get into this. Korean Cardboard. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming. For those of you who are watching, you're new, please don't hesitate to subscribe and hit the like button. We'll keep bringing you more content. But this is Tim. It's been fun talking to you so far. Let's keep going.
All right.
But yeah, man, like seriously, I got a box of change, and it's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
And plain white envelopes. You just send cards in plain white envelopes.
And no one complained.
Not in those days, no.
The
But
world has changed.
now it's definitely a problem to send something in a PWE.
Yeah, right. That's how we all shipped it.
Yeah.
We didn't
they all got there.
mailers back then.
It's crazy. eBay was like the wild, wild west back then.
Yeah, but everybody was honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way more.
Isn't this just shows you how much everything has changed, though. You know, people. I see people like I used to sell on eBay as a eBay power seller, and I used to do between 6,000 and 8,000 auctions a week. Not listings, but real auctions where they would end on Friday night, and I had to be up all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I would wait until the mailman would come to my house and pick up everything on Monday at like 2:00, and then I could crash for like till midnight, and then do it all over again and start more listings. So I kept my vicious cycle going, which was really hard to stop once you got it going. But
I had to. I had kids on the way. I had 2 kids, babies at the time.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it all. My account is from 2001. That's the official time I signed up with eBay. But I was using it before then. But yeah, I had to give it up, and I was doing all right on eBay. I just had to give it up. I couldn't do. Dude, I'm spending 2 hours a night shipping envelopes.
Yeah, I mean, I would be up for close to almost 60 hours by the time my auctions ended till the time I went to sleep again. And I just packed, and just got everything out. You're talking 6,000 envelopes that had padded mailers that had to get done,
Yeah.
And that's a lot, because people today, they paid just like that. It wasn't like waiting for the mail to show up in like 5 or 6 days after your auctions end, So
do you remember? Oh, you might not have dealt this in the States, but in Canada, like back in those days, like the mail people were like, "What the hell's with all these envelopes? Like, what are you sending these?" And they'd be like, no customs forms, nothing. They're like, but they would get irritated because it wasn't the adhesive stamp, it was a lick'em stamp.
Oh,
so you'd be like, and the roller ball. Anyway, I'm dating myself here, but storage room. Yes, we used to send through the mail for deals online for sure back in high school. And yes, PayPal was. I remember when PayPal first came, everyone was like, "What the hell is this?"
Right? Everyone was afraid of it at first.
Yes.
Yes, they were. They didn't think it was legit.
Right? Like no one's gonna I don't want to put my bank account online or whatever, and like everyone's now like throwing like their blood type up there and everything else, they're like, whatever, I just want to buy this card.
Yeah, totally. By the way, so Korean Cardboard was talking about how they're Japanese companies that do the similar thing that you do. He didn't know that there wasn't in US and Canada. So, hey, Korean Cardboard, if you need a service in the US, Tim's your guy. And I think now is probably a good time to get it shipped international.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to be talking about hobby stuff all day, and we'll never get to your business, which was the whole point of this conversation. So, Kent, I'll lead a little bit, and then I'll throw it back over to you after.
Yeah.
Okay, so as much as we're having fun, we do want to talk about your business. Let's talk about Get It Shipped International. Why don't you go ahead and give us the sales pitch, what it's all about, and then we'll get into questions.
Actually, before you get into the sales pitch, tell us, like, at what point did you figure that there was a niche, or did you want to create this business based around this?
Okay, so this is the craziest thing ever. So this is how it really, really started. So I'm doing eBay and I'm doing all these auctions and I'm selling all the different sports and stuff like that. And I'd have guys who are buying like 30, 40 cards a week, you know, and they're like, hey, can you just hold on to my stuff and I'll put it with my stuff from next week and we'll just ship it all together. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And before you know it, I got 200 regular members that live all over the world. I'm holding on to their stuff, trying to make sure I'm keeping track of like have they
Right.
paid, haven't they paid? Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, hey, I don't know if you paid or you haven't paid or whatever. But you know, I set up their all their stuff in all their own shoe boxes, and I wrote their eBay name on it, and that's how Get It Shipped International actually really started. I did that for like 3 years for guys. And all these guys were my first members. So my first member is actually from France.
Okay.
And he's still with us today.
That's
Okay.
fantastic. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
Out of our first 1,000 members, this is going to blow your mind. Out of our first 1,000 members, we have 943 that are still using the service, and we have lost 8 members who actually passed away during that time. So our retention rate is really high. I'm a very personable guy. I've spent a lot of time on Facebook. I'll even cold call some of these guys on their Facebook chats and just, you know, wish them a happy birthday or whatever. Or say, hey, you know, I just opened up one of your pieces of mail. This card is absolutely amazing, you know, or I give them the bad news that, hey, just so you know, this package came in and the card is wrecked. I'm going to send you some photos so you can have you and the seller can take care of it, and we can help you out with whatever you need to have done with the seller to get it back so you can get a refund or an exchange or whatever, you know. So back to the service now. So we have 2 different levels of service. We have a basic service and we have a VIP service. The VIP service is by far the best way to go. You get pictures and photo scans every 4 days of all your items that show up into our VIP drive. Really nice. There's in the basic version, you don't get those photos and that extra notification that items arrived visually. So you have to go off by tracking. So if you bought your Old Navy sweatshirt in gray and a red one came to us and you were a basic member and we ship your stuff to you and you open it up and you have a red sweatshirt, you're going to be a little upset.
Sure.
But if you were a VIP member, you would have been able to catch that before it got to you. You know, there's a lot of sellers and they're honest sellers and they're just honest mistakes. They send the wrong card. You know, it happens. You know, if you're packing like I was packing and you're dealing with a really high volume seller, these guys are going to make simple mistakes. It's not the end of the world. A lot of times they can be fixed and rectified, you know, within a day. You know, a blue refractor versus a purple refractor at 3 a.m. to me looks the same.
That's
you
true.
Know what I mean? When you're packing thousands of items a day, and you're a one-man show, those things will happen. And they happened to me when I was doing eBay, and I never had one member on eBay give me a negative or a neutral feedback the whole time I did eBay since '98.
That's crazy.
You know,
That's good.
It's all about customer service. You know what I mean? Like, you put yourself out there, you admit your mistake, and you move on.
Yep.
98, did you say? When did eBay start?
98.
Look at you.
Hey,
I was
I
2001.
remember when transaction numbers had 6 digits, my friend.
Oh yeah.
I remember we
That
were
is
using
true.
eBay.
That is
what
true.
your
Yeah.
item was by remembering your transaction number.
You know what's crazy though? Do you know? Okay, here's even crazier. Okay, all three of us were using eBay before the requirement to have pictures. You remember this?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't have to have pictures back then.
Pictures were an option.
Yeah, and then I remember they mandated pictures, and then they mandated high quality pictures. And I remember sellers were like,
Oh,
"How am I going to get high quality pictures? Because you have to go get a high quality scanner."
Scanner.
right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember I bought my first photo scanner at a yard sale for $7. And I used that thing for 4 years, but I wasn't doing, the thousands of auctions a week. I was doing like 150 to 200. And the photo scanner I bought um, was about as big as this thing right here. You could put 2 cards on it at one time. So I wasn't selling anything in lots. It was crazy. And then
still
I
remember.
actually sold it to a current member who uses Get It Shipped on eBay. And I remember seeing something because he was selling a card. And I was like, boy, that scanner looks really familiar, because you could see the inside of the scanner when
Yeah. When it scans.
yeah, you could see the inside. And I'm like, I think that's my scanner. And I look over at the seller's name and I'm like, dude, I sold that to him like 9 years ago. He's still using that thing. I'm like, that thing sold like $6 million worth of sports cards on eBay. And that's
Before I gave it up, I was looking at a scanner that actually had a feeder in it.
Oh,
And I was gonna just start feeding scanning, but then my kids were born and I couldn't get around to it. I just couldn't. I mean, it was tough to give up the money I was making on cards back in those days, but I
yeah.
had my kids came first, so I like to forget it. I'm just getting rid of it. But yeah, man, the whole eBay, I used to have this thing down to a science. I used to do batch scanning, and I had a process where it would cut up my images into individual chunks.
Yeah.
I would just frame it, create the cut, and then every picture, but you'd be hitting it with your mouse, click, cut, cut.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I had an auto crop set up on my scanner that I had here. It was a regular scanner size bed, for an 8x10 sheet of paper. And I set it up where I could actually auto crop my cards.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it would scan it, and then on my screen it would pop up, and you could see like the 4 cards, and then you would put them back in order of how they were on your file as you built it. So that way, when I went to go list them, I used a program. I don't know if you guys remember this, called Turbo Lister.
Yeah, I remember Turbo Lister.
Dude, Turbo Lister was amazing. You could list 500 cards and go watch TV.
No kidding,
Just
really.
come back and list another 500 cards and go do whatever you want. And then when you're ready, you just go to eBay and you upload them all to eBay, and then boom, you're there.
Yeah, Turbo Lister was good if you were on a PC, but when I switched to Mac, it didn't offer anything for Mac.
Yeah, it wasn't really friendly for Mac. I remember that.
So Mac, I had to do it manually. But sorry, we went totally off topic, Tim. Back to Get It Shipped.
Oh yeah. So the VIP service is by far the best one, just so you can ensure that you have the correct item shipped to you. One of the big things about our service is not just our customer service that we can provide. A lot of times emails can be answered within minutes to a few hours,
Nice.
depending on if we're all sleeping or not. We
Well,
still
sure,
have to rest, ourselves, but having that extra confirmation of a question versus to an answer is really huge in this world that we live in. And a lot of people with the language barrier, it's really nice when we really take our time and explain like different things about the service to people, and reiterate like all their items are safe and everything is protected, and we're all good here and everything like that. You know, we live in a really good place in Vermont where we're not going to have any floods. We're not going to have tornadoes. We're not going to have hurricanes. We're not going to have forest fires. You know, we don't have 110-degree heat. You know, we're not humid like Florida is, and your cards and your autographs are protected and all that stuff. We're in a really, really good climate for the sports card world. There's other parts of the United States which are great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not really sure if I want my autograph that I just bought in a warehouse in Florida that might or might not have air conditioning or any type of climate control.
Mm.
We all know what can happen to autographs when the humidity gets to them. You know, they can start to disappear and fade. And sometimes even if they're in a top loader, you can get that humidity barrier in between the sleeve and the card.
We've right.
All seen that in like the chrome stuff, like from like 96 and stuff like that. When you pull an old card out, the foil attaches itself to the top sleeve, the soft sleeve.
Yes, I've seen that, yes.
And it's a really nasty sound. You're just hoping that you're not going to damage a card.
Yeah, interesting. So there's a question in here from the storage room. He says, is there any tips related to duties for shipping cards from U.S. to Canada?
The best way to ship stuff to Canada to avoid duties, that's a good question. One, have an invoice filled out that we can provide for you, which we add to the outside of the package. That's the important thing. We're not putting it inside the package where customs is going to open it up. Customs is less apt to inspect the package if the invoice is on the outside. Okay. Two, our packages come not from a business, they come from your friend, and that's me. So my name is on the package and not a business name. So if you're shipping your package as a gift, coming from a friend to a friend, that's very good versus a business to you. Because no business is going to ship you a $500 package as a gift.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you got to avoid paying taxes. I'm just trying to like let you know what the breakdown is of it, you know. But you know, having a nice safe value for your package for the amount of items that you have in it is really smart. You can't say I have 30 Sidney Crosby autograph cards in my box and my value of my package is $5.
Yeah.
Customs knows, you know, they'll go on the internet and they're going to find the most expensive Sidney Crosby autograph card and multiply it by 30 on you, you know. So you want to be kind of upfront. And the really big trick about not being taxed or having all these extra duties added to you is the less packages you have arriving through customs for yourself, the better, because they keep track of all of that. So every time, if you have 10 packages from the States arriving every week to you, there's 10 packages in their record books and 9 of them are gifts. You know what I mean? And they're going to start catching up and doing the math on this stuff. And they're going to see that these aren't really gifts. And they're going to start changing that gift to goods and then start adding tax and holding your items until you can come up with a receipt for what you purchased. And you're going to have to show them your real eBay purchase price or whatever. And that's not going to help you out in the long run because you're going to be kind of like under the microscope with them for a long time.
So for your Get It Shipped International, I think what Peter was saying, you know, you can use the VIP package. People can, can you tell everyone how they would reference your service when they're doing deals? Like, what do they write on the package? How does that work? Explain the process.
Oh, so every member gets their own unique account number. So it'll have our address on it with your account number right on the very top line. It'll say "Get It Shipped And then 23741 is your account number, and that's what it is. And you're the only person that has that account number. No one else has it. So that way, when it arrives here to us, we know it's your package, your item, and then we save it and put it into your next upload.
So another question is, how many packages have you shipped? Sorry, for how long has Get Shipped International been around?
I want to say since May of 2016.
Okay, so, yeah, 2016
officially. I did a beta test for about 5 or 6 months with our original members that I started with from my house,
right,
on the website, and I didn't really do anything outside of that. I never even went to Facebook to show anybody anything or say anything. I wanted to make sure all the cobwebs were out and everything like that. And it really worked, and it really took off. And we talk about a lot of things, how like eBay's evolved from 98 to now. What we did a year ago, we don't do today. Like everything's changed in the last year, and everything has changed for the better. So we have a pool of members that use the service that we use as our test subjects. So they get to see everything before it's approved, and they help us work out the bugs or the better solution to what we're trying to get to. When I first started this, I didn't do any scans. There were no pictures. You know what I mean? It was like your items, they went in your mailbox. That was it. Now you're getting photographs every 4 days, and scans every 4 days. And, you'd only used to be able to do quote requests on Saturdays. Now you can do them Monday through Friday. Everything, you name it, has changed. We used to only ship with UPS. Now we ship with UPS, FedEx, USPS and FedEx. We don't ship with UPS right now. We're trying to work with them, but they're being a little difficult on our side for our location. They're just, they're having driver issues.
So another question: how long do you hold a purchase, and do you charge a per day fee after the hold period is up?
Oh, this is the beautiful thing. I am a huge advocate of no fees. I hate paying fees. So I built my business on hashtag no fees. And it was trending on Facebook for a couple of years because every single one of my posts had hashtag no fees. But so all of our members pay is their subscription that they choose and the shipping home to them. There's no other fees for photos, scans, mailbox storage, items that arrive to us. No extra fees whatsoever. We do have a couple other things with like a tax-free buying service that we offer our members, and that's an additional cost for that service. We also have a full online store where you can buy collecting supplies and boxes and display cases and
nice,
and beef jerky and all these other items and stuff like that. That a lot of these guys can't get a lot of these things at home in their country because it's just not available to them.
It's actually a really good point. So it's just not about cards; it's for anything. So,
yeah, I mean, we actually have a lot of really great things in our wheelhouse right now. I can get to that in a minute.
Yep. I'll left it there for you when you're ready.
Yeah. We want to become a one-stop shop.
Sure.
Okay? We're not going to be able to carry everything that everyone's looking for, but we want to be able to be your mailbox, be your collecting supply location, pick up some blasters or some fat packs or some cello boxes or what have you, and pick up some candies and snacks and different things at the same time. We're going to end up actually having merchandise for all 4 sports teams and stuff like that. Plus are going to also have availability of professional athletes available to our members on Zoom chats. And we already have 28 athletes already signed to agreements to do Zoom chats with our members, and some autograph signings as well.
This is pretty exciting stuff, Tim.
This is huge. We're just at the very beginning here. We have talks with about 160 athletes right now, and right now we've already locked in 28 Hall of Famers.
Awesome.
Hall of Famers, not
Awesome.
players, just Hall of Famers.
Why don't we before you answer this question, and this is important. So for those of you who you're interested in getting using Get It Shipped International, this perk is actually an interesting perk. We just touched on the surface. Tim, explain a little more what happens on these Zoom calls and how it all transpires. So just so people get an idea.
All right. So when you collect a player or a team, and we have one of these players in our wheelhouse, what we do is we keep track of all of our members that collect players from these teams or from that player in particular. And what we do is we book a Zoom chat with the athlete, and we will email our members that are part of that group an invite. You might not even know who's going to be on the call at the time, but lo and behold, we'll have a professional athlete who could be your icon on the Zoom chat. And this could be the one chance you ever have to get a chance to ask them a question, get a chance to hear some of their stories. You know, you're live, it's not recorded. I have a lot of connections with a lot of different athletes from all different sports, including NASCAR and stuff like that too. But being able to reach out to these guys and talk to them, a lot of times the athletes will send us a gift pack from them where they sign a bunch of 8x10s. And when we ship you your package, we add in your 8x10 from the athlete for you.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Can't say we have that service anywhere else. I think that's a really cool add-on. So
yeah,
it's like a grab bag, a mystery bag of a guest.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, you know, we've had a lot of different players on and stuff like that, and a lot of them will actually write a note to each person that was on. You know, hey Ken, thanks for joining me on my Zoom chat. You know, best of luck. You know, whoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I think that's pretty cool. It's going to be probably an inscription autograph, but it's still a note to you. It's your time, your chance to meet the player. You know, a lot of guys who live in like Australia are probably not going to meet their favorite athlete.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? And this is the closest they're ever going to get.
Sure. This is a really neat initiative. I like it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like it as well. Okay, so let's get into how does the tax-free shipment service work?
So the tax-free service, which is really cool, it saves you between 6.5% and 10.5% sales tax on eBay and millions of other websites that charge sales tax now in the U.S.
That's right. Yes,
it's crazy. Like we have. So anyway, so you pay for the service. It's basically $5 a month. So right now we're in March, so you're talking $50 for the rest of the year. So it's a one-time payment of $50 all the way to December 31st. And it gets prorated $5 as the year moves on, less and less and less. And it always goes to December 31st. So that way the following year, it's a lot easier for us to do like bookkeeping on tax-free members versus trying to keep track of everybody on their dates. We just do it that way. That way it's a much easier way to keep track of it. So you're saving 6.5% to 10.5% sales tax. That also includes your shipping and handling too, because a lot of people don't realize that every time you buy a card on eBay and it's $4 shipping, that's 25 cents in sales tax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or 40 cents, depending.
Right.
And that adds up. And it doesn't take long for you to realize that, oh, I just bought $1,000 card. Oh, I don't need tax free. I'm going to wait until I get a bigger purchase or something like that. And I'm like, dude, you just bought $1,000 card. That's $65 in sales tax you just spent. You could have got the tax free for $60 for the year. And now you're already up $5 on savings. And then everything you buy for the rest of the year is tax free. And that 6.5 adds up and adds up. And before you know it, we have guys who are saving $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year on sales tax on eBay alone.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take long. I mean, when you're buying a $50 card, you know, that's $6.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, who doesn't buy 10 $50 cards in a year?
I buy way more than that. So I'll tell you
Okay,
that.
well, there you go. That's the whole point of the tax-free service, you know.
We also have another question here. Do you require front deposit before purchase or charge a card at a time of purchase?
We don't do the purchase for our members. Our members get to go out and buy whatever they want. So they have their own accounts on eBay or whatever. They can go and buy, 300 cards. They don't need our approval to buy 300 cards. They can just go and shop just like.
The Korean cardboard, if your question was different than what we interpreted, let us know. But it sounds like you're asking like if you have to pay for the service up front, but no, it's like your own mailbox. So you're paying for the service of having a mailbox for your shipments.
Yeah. I think his question was about buying cards. So yeah,
Korean cardboard, if you can confirm just to make sure we understand your question and make sure we answer it properly. Storage room has another question. Thanks for answering all my cues. Normally I just buy lower end stuff, but definitely consider it a tax-free option. So he likes that.
Yeah.
And then so customers just request to ship their item. Did you get it shipped internationally? Yes. So I'm an eBayer and I'm in Canada and I have an item that a guy in the States will not ship up here. So instead of putting my Canadian address, and I still pay an American fund, but I use the Get It Shipped International address, and I'll go to Get It Shipped International, and Tim gets it and holds it for me until I tell him to ship it to me.
Right.
Right.
Then we repackage up all your items into the smallest package we can to make it the most economical shipping we can for you.
Yep.
And save you all that money. Can I give a real quick example?
Sure.
All right. So we have guys who collect football helmets, and these are the full size over your head football helmets. And just say it costs like $75 or whatever to ship one helmet. Like we have a box where you can put 4 full size helmets in it, a mini football helmet in each side of each full size helmet. And then we can put like a total of 16 jerseys in that box. And it ships for about what 2 full-size helmets ship for in 2 separate boxes. So you get all of that in one box for that one price. It's like, I don't know, like $170 or something like that. That's like to the United Kingdom or something.
That's crazy. And sorry, Korean cardboard, he did say it's as long as you want to hold it for until you're ready to ship it.
We don't have a time limit on storage. We're not like that.
No time limit on storage. So so you have an unlimited amount of time. Yep. Although you don't want to forget about your stuff.
You don't want to forget about your stuff.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, how many shipments have you shipped so far in a lifetime of shipped international?
Oh boy.
You actually know? Or guess. What would you say is a guess of how many things you've shipped?
How many packages I've shipped or cards we've shipped?
Packages, not cards. Okay. Cards would be,
Yeah, cards would be in the hundreds of millions. I'd say last year alone we did a little over 500,000 packages. out.
Awesome.
That's a lot. It's a lot of work.
And how many people work for you right now?
137.
So you can see this is not Tim by himself in his house. This
That's
is a
right.
full
I'm
operation.
not a one-man band, although I wish I was, but I can't do it all by myself.
Yeah, so there's 137 people working.
Yep.
And you have a fairly large facility, which you already said.
Yeah, it's about 9 basketball courts big.
Holy cow.
Just to put that in retrospect.
You know what I should have asked you to do is send us a picture. But anyway, we'll do that next time. We'll have you back on for sure.
Okay.
I want to also ask you, are you increasing year over year?
Oh yeah. Every day we probably have you mean for members?
Members or shipments or shipments.
Oh yeah. I mean, as we have more members, our shipments increase. But like every day we have anywhere between 60 to 100 new members sign up.
Nice.
So, and it's all word of mouth. It's just, friends saying, hey, I have a mailbox with these guys and everything works out great. And if a package shows up and it doesn't have my account number on it, I just fill out a form and I usually get a reply within 24 to 48 hours. I have a specialist that works for me. He understands everything there is to know about tracking, how to backtrack something, how to help out a member put in a claim with their eBay or their credit card or PayPal, how to do a return the correct way. That's like a huge thing. You don't understand. There's a lot of fraud that can happen on a return if you don't do it the right way. You actually have to go into eBay yourself and initiate the return process. You can't just be like the seller can't just be like, okay, well, ship it back to me and I'll give you your refund. You're gonna lose 99% of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like an RMI, like a return merchandise authorization.
Yeah.
RMA, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just ship a package back to Amazon without notifying them first. You're never going to get a refund. If you do, it could be 8, 10, 12 months and 50 phone calls later.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No.
So,
no one has time to chase up a $20 item you're returning. That's too much work. You're just going to
time is
walk
money.
away from it. Like, forget it.
Time is money too.
So Tim, I got to ask you a question.
Go ahead,
when you started this whole concept of GISI, did you envision that you'd have over 100 employees?
I envisioned, not having 100, that was for sure. I envisioned hiring mostly a female staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to hire women to give them the opportunity to be in charge of a successful business and make them, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, and be able to put them in the right situations to succeed. I started off with one employee, and that's Sarah. Sarah's still with me today. Sarah is my GM, and she's got 3 children. She works 60 hours a week for me, and she's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And she says to me literally at least once a month, she's like, I thought it was crazy coming to work for you. She's like, but it was the right thing to do. She's like, I never would have had this opportunity to lead people in another company the way she's been able to do this here. So I have 9 employees that are male.
Yeah.
So
no, it's actually really appreciative to hear that, because Kent and I, when we started the channel, we first envisioned it as a diversity and inclusivity channel to talk about the hobby. And it's kind of funny how it worked out in our favor for tonight, because we weren't even thinking about asking those questions, and you volunteered that. So we really appreciate you doing that and spreading the goodwill. So that's a value that we really appreciate greatly.
So all my employees, I always ask them this question during an interview: what do you collect? And they're like, I have a girl who collects thimbles for sewing.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
You know, everybody collects something.
Yeah.
They just don't realize they actually collect. And everybody has a passion about something, and they just don't realize they actually have a passion about it until someone says, boy, you do have a lot of fans on your walls. Remember fans that grandma used to have on her wall?
Yeah.
I know people who have thousands of them in their homes, and they don't even realize they collect them.
Those are the people we want to interview, by the way. Just so you know, Tim, those are the people we want to interview. So if you have any ideas, our show is all about hobbies in general, not just sports cards.
But that's what's great about what we do. We're not just only sports cards and memorabilia. We're anything. Like, you can go buy a Lego box for your kid for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can buy makeup for your wife for Mother's Day. Like, it's not just sports cards.
Yeah.
We have everything and anything that you can imagine that's come through.
That's awesome. I just realized we're at the hour and 21 mark. I didn't even realize we went here. So Kent, I think we should probably wrap up soon, because we'll give Tim his life back. We have a question we like to ask at the end of every show, but Tim, just before we go, just hang out after we end the show. Hang out. We'll talk for a few minutes.
Okay.
But Kent, I want to leave you this time to ask the question of the day. It's the last question.
Sure. So Tim, we ask this of all of our guests, and it's a tradition around here, how we end the show with this one particular question. So Tim, what inspires you? And this can be anything. What inspires you?
I don't want to get emotional.
You can if you want.
You're allowed. This is totally okay.
What inspires me? Actually, my mom.
Yeah.
My mom inspires me. When I was really young, my father got hit by a drunk driver.
Okay.
And it was a really tough time being, 8 years old, and dad's in a hospital for 2 years in a coma. And my mom never let my brother and I ever miss one day of anything that we wanted to do during that entire time.
Yeah.
And my dad was he worked for the post office. So I'm still working for the post office no matter what. But he had a contract with the post office to bring the mail from the post office to the airport and put it on the planes. And that's what he did. And that was a real man's job. These are like 80-pound sacks of mail. And she's lifting 200, 300, 400 of these a day, working 16, 18 hours a day. And she still made sure that my brother and I had everything that we needed. We were able to do everything that we did, whether it was going to hockey games or practice or whatever. We never missed a beat that whole entire time. And I always say to myself, if she was willing to do that and put all that time and effort into it, then I can do that.
No, that's really touching, man. Seriously. No, that's really touching. And I'm glad we heard that.
Yeah. So just a few months after I started this, my mom passed away. So I think about her every day.
Well, I'm sure she's looking down and giving you lots of good vibes. So I wouldn't.
For sure. Be so proud.
For sure.
She's probably helping your packages get to where they need to get to.
I would like to think so.
Yes. So on that note, I want to thank you, Tim, for coming to our show. We really appreciate it. We're growing too. We're in a startup stage of our show, so we're trying to get bigger and better. So we wish you the best of luck. Just hang out there, and we'll say good night to everyone.
All right.
Good night, everybody. Thanks again for watching.